In terms of Brock Lesnar being the guy to end the streak, now, with that in mind, Brock Lesnar, a part-timer, so I can see why a lot of people would be frustrated there. And it's not even, I'll get to this in a minute, but with Brock Lesnar being the guy to end it, John said that someone should have ended it, someone young, a Cesaro, a Bray Wyatt, a Roman Reigns, and this is my thoughts on that as well, and you were shaking your head no, you don't think a young guy should have ended the streak. So I want to get your thoughts on that. And because Brock Lesnar, in my opinion, before you even go, I just want to say Brock Lesnar, you look at him and say, that's a guy that can beat the streak. That guy, legitimately, from a storyline standpoint or in real life, is a guy who can beat The Undertaker, especially given his current state.
Yep.
And I know there were reports a couple months ago of saying there were Daniel Bryan, Undertaker reports, Bryan should have been the one. If you really think about it, would have been a great match, don't get me wrong. But do you think Bryan... I don't think Undertaker's on a completely different level than Bryan. Bryan, right now, as hot as he is... He's not Undertaker. He's not believable. You know
he's
what I mean?
Not like that marquee guy that's paid his dues. He hasn't beaten the guys. He doesn't have the name. Like you said, you walk out on the street. Who's Daniel Bryan? I don't know who that is. Who's CM Punk? I don't know who that is.
Breaking the streak will make them...
I still don't think anyone would know who he is.
No, absolutely. Well, I mean, maybe in due time. It's still too early to tell.
It's still too early to tell, but Lesnar was the guy that everyone knows. He's the one that's done has all these accolades, has all the accomplishments. He's the one that Undertaker wanted to beat the streak, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's Undertaker's decision, but do you think a younger guy could have benefited more, if only because a younger guy is on the road 365 days a year, or 300 days a year, whatever it is, as opposed to Lesnar, who, like I said, I'm not going to judge last night's promo, if only because he could be back next week. You remember last year he worked Extreme Rules, and did he not work Extreme Rules in 2012 as well? So you never really know. So he could be staying around. I'm not saying he's going to be working a full schedule, but I think if they really want to capitalize him breaking the streak, they need to continue to build him up, not destroy him by having him lose to Kofi Kingston or something. You know what I mean?
That would never happen.
No, but you know what I mean, though. You know,
I feel like
he can't lose his next
match.
I
know what you're saying. I feel like the point of a younger star beating him.
Yeah.
I feel like even though it could give him that start, I feel like Undertaker wanted someone that was credible enough that he would lose. Like even though it would give someone else another jump, he wanted someone who was a star and credibility of actually able to beat him. I feel like a guy like Daniel Bryan physically couldn't beat him. Mm-hmm. A guy like Cesaro couldn't physically beat him. Roman Reigns would be like one of the only guys besides Lesnar to, in a legit fight, probably beat him. But I feel like he wanted someone accomplished to beat him, and Lesnar was the most accomplished guy to beat him.
Roman Reigns would not have been a breakout babyface had he beaten the streak. Anyone who's going to beat
exactly. So it had to be a heel to beat him anyways, and Lesnar
had to be a heel.
Is a heel, so
unless it's John Cena turning heel while breaking the streak, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and I feel like
and that match is not happening at this point, I don't think, which is sad. I mean, Undertaker, we'll get to this in a moment. There's a lot of Undertaker talk today, but Undertaker, it's very unclear right now, regarding what his future is in WWE. If he will continue wrestling, will he face Sting? Will he continue to wrestle despite the streak being broken? I think he could still wrestle. The concussion kind of said otherwise. We'll get to that in a moment. I think he could have one more match. I think he deserves one more match, if only because he can't go out on that note, if only because the build was just so bad, and they should build towards one final match saying, okay, this is it. We're done after this. And that's what this build should have been. You know what I mean?
But if you really look at it, look at the build. Look at how they set up Raw and towards the build to WrestleMania.
And I know
John Cena came out on top. Bray Wyatt, he got over on Raw. Lesnar got over on Undertaker. Daniel Bryan got over on Triple H and Randy Orton and Batista.
Yeah.
They built this Raw. Whoever went over on Raw was going to win at WrestleMania.
In terms of the marquee match.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that they kind of made all the guys that lost, all the guys that won look soft through the whole storyline. They're the ones that couldn't do it. Cena's legacy, he couldn't beat Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's scaring him every week. He comes out, beats him. Daniel Bryan can't beat Authority. Comes out, beats Triple H. Mm-hmm. Can't beat Orton and Batista. Comes out, beats them. No chance in hell that Lesnar's going to come out and beat Undertaker. Undertaker beat him up 4 weeks in a row. Comes out, beats Undertaker.
Throw a booking in 101 right out the window.
They literally did that, and I feel like even though a young guy could benefit from being Undertaker, I feel like Lesnar was the perfect guy to do it.
Like I said, it makes sense from a storyline standpoint
but I feel
to have
like,
him be the one.
Yeah, but I feel like Undertaker is pretty much done at this point.
You don't think he will wrestle another match?
If he wrestles another match, he better get in condition because he is not in shape to wrestle.
Do you think he will ever appear on WWE TV again? I know he'll.
Yeah,
like,
he'll
show
definitely
up.
he'll definitely be on TV again, but I don't know how much wrestling he'll be doing.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels retired after losing WrestleMania, so
And he hasn't really came back and wrestled, so I don't know.
Yeah, I
he's
feel
in
you.
much better shape than what Undertaker is.
Yeah, he was. Shawn Michaels could have easily wrestled. That was
He
his
could have
decision.
wrestled this year.
He can still.
He could still he was great shape. That's why.
I don't know. I just don't understand it because Undertaker's been saying for years, I don't want to come back if I'm going to have a half-assed match at WrestleMania. And he did. That's exactly what he had. And I don't buy for a minute that it was intentional that they had a plotting match like to tell the story that Undertaker couldn't do it. That's not the case at all. He obviously had a
it was the
concussion.
concussion and the shape that he was in. I don't
Yeah.
think he trained hard enough to be in condition for a 25-minute match like he was in.
Yeah.
Like I said, he didn't have a concussion right in the beginning of the match. He was already tired a couple minutes in.
I know the build with Brock Lesnar being destroyed and whatnot, just the whole feud was just not good, okay?
I feel like this, like you said, the feud wasn't good, but I feel like the promo that aired right before the match, like kind of like took all the mistakes they've already made and kind of like redid it. Because they put Paul Heyman in there and then emphasized how all this, they like took all the accolades he had and just threw him away. Like once he loses, like that's all gone. And then he kept repeating, eat, sleep, conquer, repeat. And then like kind of like, I feel like that like emphasized how like Lesnar was going to come out and beat him. It kind of like revitalized the rivalry a little bit.
Yeah, thanks to WWE's production team. They're amazing. There was a lot of awesome video packages.
There were a lot of good video packages.
I was just watching the Daniel Bryan one. That was amazing. They showed that on Raw at the start of the show, too. The fantastic stuff. But what was I going to say? In terms of Lesnar, him being the one to end the streak, him being... What was I going to say? The match itself, not all that great. Oh, yeah. If they were going to have him be the final one, have this be his final WrestleMania, and I know the bad build made this that much more of a shock. Had they said going in that this will be in his final WrestleMania, it might have boosted buy rates, but it wouldn't have been a big of a shock. You know what I mean? It still would have been a huge shock.
I feel like if they said this is his last match and he lost, people would have been like, it's the last match he lost.
Yeah, no one would have predicted that he was still going to lose, or maybe some more people than what actually happened. But regardless, though, I still think that they could benefit off of the streak. I think if Undertaker won here, it would not have been, after that match,
it would have been just like...
the WrestleMania would not have been as great. In my opinion,
it
created a WrestleMania
I feel
moment.
like it would have killed the show, because people were like, okay, well, Undertaker won a really, really bad match. He was not ready. What's next?